Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Nice.
But if you give me a minute,
Moonstones for clarity and calm.
but I could be
Okay,
completely
girls.
wrong.
We are here on Facebook Live with our 50/50s. Jacine, show them your moonstone.
My
for
moonstone.
clarity
Yes.
and calm.
I don't know. Wait, hold on. Oh, actually,
Okay.
no. It's a stone of new beginnings.
Oh, happy.
Oh,
I
wow.
love that. The
Yeah,
stone of
yeah, I do
beginnings.
too.
Okay, so it says here, as its name suggests, it is strongly connected to the moon and to the intuition. Like the moon, the stone is reflective and reminds us that as the moon waxes and wanes, so everything is part of a cycle of change. Its most powerful effect is that of calming the emotions.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd never take it off.
No, I know, right? It's so
All the
beautiful.
emotions.
New
Be
beginnings.
zen, that
New
zen
beginnings.
space.
That's
Yes.
so
Well,
good.
happy Monday, everybody. And welcome to A Creator-Based Life, the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching. We empower women of faith to create the lives they love, the lives they have always wanted. And I'm here with Jacine Bonnet, a business coach, a mom, a grandma, the new owner of a moonstone, and an avid runner. And Jennifer DeRoos, who knows all things about moonstones, so helpful. A coach, a can grow anything gardener, and a hypnotherapist. And I'm Beth, a master life coach, author, and creator of The Creator-Based Way. Create your one awesome, amazing, perfect life. So today we're talking about resilience. It's our last week on resilience, but today we're talking about resilience through working with our thoughts. And Napoleon Hill has a very famous quote. He says, all thought is creative, which I loved because we're creator-based way, right? So all thought is creative. However, not all thought is constructive or positive, but it does create. All thought is creative.
He also said, Napoleon Hill also said, which I love him, maybe not in these same words, but it's something that we in Health Source, we have it put on little bands, and it's what I think about, I bring about.
Amen.
Yeah.
What I think about, I bring about. Yeah, so much. And then I got a Wayne Dyer for you, and it's from The Power of Intention, my favorite Wayne Dyer book. He says, our words are like the electrical current that runs through our life, positive, negative, or neutral. You think about that when you're working with electrical wire, positive, negative, or neutral. They are tools for creating the life we have and will have. Very negatively charged words, activating words, hate, or positively charged, lifting words, love, are equally important, but neutral words too, like intention. All of those matter. Our words are like electrical current. Isn't that an interesting thought? And you can feel the energetic charge that comes from words, right? If you've ever walked into someplace people have been arguing, but they weren't arguing anymore, right? I can remember coming home from school in the afternoon and walking in the back door and feeling enough shift to know just to go upstairs, even though the house was silent.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you had that experience before?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where you are, if it's in your home, if it's at a place of business, if it's
Yeah.
at, people think that they can hide it.
You can't hide it.
No.
You can feel it. Yeah.
It's
No
the
matter
prickly.
where.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ooh,
Yeah.
let's go this way."
Yeah. There are lots of different layers of a word's energy.
Mm.
Each one contributes to your experience. There's the meaning of the word,
Mm.
and we're going to play with that. I have a little experiment to do.
Oh,
There's
yay.
the imaging and the sensing that goes with the word. Like if I close my eyes and I think the word chocolate, I promise you I will salivate. There's the emotional energy behind the word, like love or hate, like was just pointed out. And then there's the vibration and frequency of a word. Words also have color. I know Jen's talked about that before. They also have shape and form. And so there's all these different layers with words, but here, let's just try this. It's just a little bitty experiment. It came from another book on the power of words. And I'll give the author credit here just a minute. Her name was Sharon Klinger, and the name of her book is Words Are Energy. So just experiment. Close. You can visualize yourself this, or you can actually do this if you're willing to do it. Drop a pen on the floor. Okay, now try a string of activating words like, oh crap, why am I so clumsy? I can't believe I did that. And pick up the pen. I hope you guys are trying this in the 50/50 Girl Club. Okay, note how you feel. Note what's in your body. Note what's in your mind. Then let's do it again. Drop the pen on the floor. And then try this one. Oh, I love that pen. So-and-so gave it to me, and she is a wonderful person.
Oh my gosh.
Pick it up. Notice, what do you feel here? In your shoulders. What are your thoughts? And then I've got one more for you. You get to drop it 3 times. Drop the pen again. And this time, when you bend over to get the pen, think the word or say the word out loud, abdominals. Just do it.
Abdominals.
Did you feel the difference? What was the difference?
I got
with
an
the word abdominal. Yeah, right. I just saying the word abdominal, I could feel everything engaged. What about you?
Focus.
So it was more my lower back was like, ow, So I'm like, maybe my abdominals, maybe there's a little disconnect. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I felt more of a difference between the first 2 scenarios or first 2 exercises.
Can you elaborate on it a little bit?
Oh my gosh. So it was just like, drop the pen, say those things and pick it up, and everything in me just tightened up. And I actually started to like have a hard time breathing. And then when dropped it and you said, love that pen. It's my favorite person gave it to me. I was like, oh, pen,
Right?
Yeah, it was like so different. My body was just like, pick it up, and there was no creaking, and it was a happy pen. Yeah.
Your body is just so affected by the words you're thinking, because we didn't even say those out loud, right?
Yep.
The words we're thinking, our thoughts. And you can really see how, like, if you were having a bad day and you picked up your pen, remembering the person that gave it to you and how great she was, that would significantly contribute to your resilience through the day, being able to bounce back. It's just really powerful. Yeah, it's crazy. I just loved it. When I did abdominals, I could feel my abdominals. What about you, JC?
Yeah, I felt my abs too. It's again, that power of intention, right? And that focus. Where's your focus? Yeah.
Where's your focus? Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah.
really loved it. Then we don't want to talk about Einstein, but I have some cool quotes on Einstein from this one. What we really want to do is we really want to talk about fun things from our lives that illustrate the power of words. We'll just move on with that. So today we're going to talk about a time when your thoughts created or really helped frame a good experience, or the reverse, where your thoughts created or reinforced a negative experience. So it's story time. And Jacine told me up front, she has a really good thought story to share today.
Yeah. It's so great. I was telling Beth, since I think every day, I have lots of practice to practice my thoughts. So, but today, especially because I was in a high charged situation. My husband and I had to be in court this morning, and it's
a lot of emotional charge.
It's with a neighbor who has 8 Great Pyrenees barking dogs that we have been trying to get them to, that are obsessive. So anyway, we finally had to have them cited, and he's fighting it and all that kind of stuff. So today was our court date. And it was interesting being there. First I walked in because it's just my husband and I we're the plaintiffs, and we're at the plaintiff, I call it a station, but that's not what they call it. Whatever
the table is.
Yeah, the table is. And then right next across from us is our neighbor. And
did it look like Judge Judy?
No, he was I really liked the judge. I just really liked him. You could tell when you walked in that he was kind and thoughtful. And so our neighbor had his witness with him. And then we had an officer who is the one that did the cite. And anyway, all of the emotions going, and my husband presented first, and there were things that the judge is like, well, I'm not going to admit that and they were all of the notes that he had gone and gotten from the 911 center, the call center. And where the 911 officer or 911 responders are saying, oh yeah, we can hear that. That's crazy. And they're putting those in their CAD notes. And so our neighbor said, well, that's whatever. He got them dismissed. So we couldn't have that in there. They wouldn't accept recordings. It was this stuff that I could feel
frustrating.
Oh my gosh, I could feel Mark getting frustrated. So thought process, right? My thought process is, oh, this guy's such a jerk, just da, da, da. And I remember because I'm working so hard to think about where's my focus? And I went from this me focus and I'm going to fight, right? Because I'm the victim and I'm just going to fight. And it's just all right, I'm going to focus more on my center and on, Christ, and on what would he be doing in this situation? And what can I do in this situation, right? And all I could do in that situation was immediately when I said, I want my thoughts to be outward instead of inward. And as I chose, and I said those words in my mind, immediately I had this peace that came over me. And it was, at that moment, it was interesting because I made eye contact with the officer at that moment. And we just smiled at each other. And it was hilarious because Mark and the neighbor were up with the judge. And so the neighbor's witness, he said out loud, he's like, it's not funny, quit laughing. And the officer and I just looked at each other. It was we just had this smiling connection, but clearly my countenance changed at that moment.
With your thoughts.
Yes. And he could recognize it, right?
Yeah.
And he was very, but I felt when I had that change, it was interesting because when Mark came back and he sat next to me, he physically went, just breath out.
Yes, the power of thoughts.
This is so cool. It's not just affecting me, but it's affecting him. And then the next questions, he wasn't on the defense anymore. He was listening to the judge and, and taking that in and saying, okay, well, what is it that you do want from me? What? Right. And anyway, it was it was a huge shift. And we were there for an hour and a half, and it was about 20 minutes into that when that happened, maybe 30 minutes into it. So we had a good hour of just the peace and being in this threatening, confrontational situation, potentially, we both walked out of there just, calm. And it was a really cool experience. Like thoughts have power.
So much power. And the fact that Mark could feel it.
Yeah.
And most likely you made the eye contact with the officer because he could feel it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I bet so. That's interesting. Yeah. And we had eye contact a few other times throughout, that it was kind of cool. But poor witness Bob, he wasn't feeling it.
His thoughts probably weren't allowing him to feel anything except for what the negativity was in his own mind, right?
Exactly. And the negativity that was coming from the neighbors. So anyway, yeah. So it was, I felt really good. I'm going to pat myself on the back.
Good job.
But more than that, I'm going to have gratitude that I'm learning these skills so that I can, number one, recognize, and I have the tools. I didn't know how to shift it, except for to say in my mind, that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Where is my focus?
Yeah.
Is my focus on what I want to create, or is my focus on the problem?
Yep.
Yeah. That really makes a difference in the way we're thinking, checking our focus. Gosh, that's a great example, JC.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. One of the things that I've been working on lately is being grateful, because I find myself so easily driven to a problem focus that I've got a mantra. I am grateful and I'm thankful for what I have. That shifts my focus first to being grateful. I am grateful. And that's who I am. I am grateful. Like you could even make it a capital G. That could be my second name. Grateful. I am. But more than that, I am thankful for what I have shifts me into looking at what I have rather than what I don't have. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful for what I have. Then I'm consistently seeing what I have. And it's just this beautiful circle. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for what I have. The thoughts really help me. What about you, Jen? Do you have any stories of thought work and the way thoughts
I have stories? I'm constantly working on thought work. Some of the things that have really helped me to come to mind. And when I discovered, the power of words, yes, words have power, and how you can just put a simple little 3-letter word at the end of a sentence and it can change the power of it. And it's one of my power words. It's when I'm having problems or I have a thought that is I just feel so real, or it just feels so unattainable or whatever. I will put, if appropriate, of course, the little word yet at the end of it.
Power word.
It's a power word. It totally shifts the energy of whatever sentence or thought that you're having. Like if you're just like, I don't have enough money yet. I don't have enough time in my day yet. It opens up to the possibility of change, of figuring things out. It doesn't keep you so bound and like stuck. So I do use that a lot. And you, just in a lot of different things, different ways that
I learned that from you, and I use it as I'm learning new technology, because the technology is changing all the time. And I used to just be, oh my gosh, I don't understand this. And then we would add the word yet, and that completely shifts it. I don't understand this yet. And into my mind comes the next phrase of, but I will soon.
Yeah. And there's possibility. It calms you down, lets you focus.
It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of my thought work words. Two other things I like to do is I just to get really curious about what the words I'm saying to myself or about other people or about the situation, and just test, is this really true? I know it feels true. I know it feels like it is true, but is it really true? And it's like, and I even sometimes like, can this be proven true in a court of law? Things like that. If it is, then okay.
Christine can help you with that. She was just there this morning. That's
I
it.
know, yeah. So
could your judge prove that true? Yeah, probably not.
So, because a lot of times the thought work, the stories in my head and the sentences, it's all my perception and my feeling. It's not really the truth of the situation.
Yeah, it's your person
of myself.
construct.
So,
yeah.
And then the other one I really like is because usually when I get into possible thought spirals or like, and the feelings and everything that comes up with that, this quote was given to, I heard this quote years ago. Can't remember where I was, who said it, but it basically says, so like if I'm in desperation or if I'm in frustration or if I'm in anger, basically the root of all that is there's some type of fear going on inside of me. There's some type of fear. So usually when I'm not experiencing what I feel is ideal or good for me, or what I want, that's usually at the base. And so this quote is, both fear and faith ask me to believe in something I can't see.
Ooh,
I choose faith.
Can you say it one more time? Because it's so powerful.
I know. Both fear and faith ask me to believe in something I don't see or I can't see.
I'm writing that down now.
And I choose faith, and then it says I choose Jesus Christ. It's like it's the whole the how our faith should be focused. And that really helps me to orient my brain into possibilities more than looking at the problem and the fear and that like this is doom and gloom and this is like, we're going to be living in tents or something, or we're going to have no money or we're going to, it stops that escalation of the story in my head and helps me to reorient.
Yeah, I love that.
Right?
Both fear and faith ask me to believe in something I cannot see.
I love that.
It takes the charge out of the fear.
Yeah, well, it makes you choose. It lets you understand you have a choice to feel this way, desperation, fear, or you have a choice to feel the possibility, the opposite of that. And a lot of times that feeling, that faith, and that opposite of that, I have to go and explore that and figure that out because I am so comfortable in my desperation or in my fear because that's my story. I've been running for so long.
It's so familiar, right? It's just easy to slide right into those old ruts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Those are my 3 thought work things that I do to try and calm the crazy,
Yeah. Yeah. I use your thought word a lot, the yet. I use the word yet a lot. It is so powerful. Another one that I've enjoyed, especially in business, is I attract wonderful, uplifting people into my life. I invite them. And I mean, you too, absolute evidence of that. I attract wonderful, uplifting people into my life. And it's been a byword of mine for a long time. This is what I attract. I attract wonderful, uplifting people. And they just come to me. That's another one. It just comes to me. It's rather effortless. It just happens. It just comes. And that gives me the resiliency to keep anticipating and hoping and watching. We've got a new team member that we're going to be adding into CMH Coaching's team real soon. Another wonderful, uplifting person who is attracted into our lives again. And it's just, we create it through our thoughts. It's who we are and people are attracted to it. Kind of like in the courtroom, that officer that just settled in and looked at you. He was attracted to that. It felt good. Yeah. I just love it. It was beautiful. Want to talk a minute about Masaru Emoto and the important work that he did with words? Anybody want to tell that story about Masaru Emoto?
You explain it so well.
It's a favorite of mine. I just love it.
I know.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. So Masaru Emoto is a Japanese brilliant scientist, just brilliant, who is fascinated with vibration and vibrational approach. He's a deeply spiritual man as well, and very committed to healing and helping others. And so as a scientist, he was curious about the effect of words on human bodies. He's since gone on and written some really interesting books about the effect of words on a human body. But the way he began his studies was by testing the effect of words on water. And what he learned to do is he learned how to flash freeze. There we go. I can say it. Say it again. Flash freeze water droplets, and look at their shape. And most of the time they look somewhat like a snowflake, which is not surprising, right? Because that's how snowflakes are formed. They flash freeze. But what he discovered was a specific connection between the quality of the word and the structure of the water droplet. So when he would freeze words that had been exposed, droplets that had been exposed to words like love or kindness or joy or faith or happiness, they would freeze into a very pretty snowflake, intricate and beautiful, beautiful. Now, he only had 3 or 4 seconds before they started to melt, so it was quick. He would flash freeze them. They would take the picture real quick. But then he started kind of working on the opposites. And so he would flash freeze words that had been exposed, droplets that had been exposed to words like hate or you fool, which I thought was so interesting. He chose that humiliation and judgment kind of a phrase for those negative words and those water droplets. When he did that, the structure of the snowflake was indistinct.
There was no structure.
There was no real structure. It was just kind of like a blurry glob.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't turn at all. So he took it a little farther, and he did it with music, which was really beautiful to see some of the shapes of some of the classical music. He used it on all different things. But the bottom line was the vibration of the words had a distinct effect for the good on the water if they were good words. And if they were not positive words, they had a distinct negative effect on the water droplets. He transferred that then to taking care of bodies, since our bodies are between 50 and 80% water, and showing how that had a dramatic effect on health. So to me, to be able to see those beautiful crystals of love, one of my very favorites was one that he did for Mozart, because I do love Mozart's music, and then to see the lack of structure and the darkness in these negative words really showed me the vibrational power that's there in not only what we think, but also what we say. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So now you heard my long story about Masaru Emoto. Let's talk about what we could do this week to make this week better by choosing to create that vibration inside of us. What's your go-to, y'all? When things are rough, we had a really miserable weekend at my house. I do not know what happened, but I was telling Jacine before we got started, it was, yes, dear, I love you, dear. Yes, dear, I love you, dear. Oh, yes, I love you, dear. Yes, dear. All weekend, because grumpy. And then Jared came in and I was equally grumpy. I heard a lot of yes, dear, I love you, dear. And then Jared came in last night and he's like, I don't know what's going on, but I am irrationally grumpy. And so I did a lot of thought work on trying the gratitude thoughts, and I honestly could not bring myself to say I surround myself with uplifting, wonderful people. I just couldn't get there this weekend, but I will keep practicing to get there. But it makes a real difference to me to focus on my gratitude and to be grateful and to know. And that helped. And this morning, when I was writing in my journal after prayer, I just couldn't quite figure out what had happened. And I was pondering on that. And I got the thought in my mind, I feel worthless. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to write that down. So I wrote down, I feel worthless. And oh goodness, it was like the dam ruptured. And I had a page and a half of awful things that had been in my head all weekend long. And once it was on paper, I took the word lie and I wrote it all the way around the border of the page. Lie, 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 lie. And then on the opposite page, I wrote the truths that I had. And it was so cathartic. And again, framed it with truth and just made all the difference. And it was just all gone. But it took all of that weekend for me to finally get to the point where I could dump. And it took the paper for me to dump it all out. I was blown away by the awful things that were in my head. I would have never been able to identify them had I not asked. That was a big thing. I asked Heavenly Father for that, and written it down and been available was huge. So now I have my truth, which is real. And I have my page of labeled lies, which I don't know what will happen with them, if they'll stay there or not. They may stay in that journal just so that I can say, okay, is this what's going on in your head? Because if it is, here's the truth. Yeah. Shifted the whole vibration of the household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Really interesting. The other thing is Aubrey, she's up visiting today. She also was in a terrible mindset and had a similar experience driving up. We were just, I don't know what it was. The whole family was just out of sorts.
Man,
what do you guys do? Shift yourselves out of the ugly grumpies. I hate being in that space.
sleep.
Sleep. Yes.
Different environment.
Sorry.
I sit in a different environment sometimes. So I leave the house to go on a walk, go out in nature. I mean, of course, nature's so big for me. But I like JC, sometimes I just have to leave the energy or the experience, whatever, and then come back later.
Yeah. That does help. Do you have any favorite thoughts that you could recommend to the girls in 50/50 that might be helpful to them when they're having a struggle? For me, I am a daughter of a Heavenly Father who loves me is huge. I mean, it just really builds. Every time I say it, I can feel my heart say, yes, that is truth, and that really helps me. I am loved. I can argue with that one if I'm grumpy. So, but I can't argue with I am a daughter of a Heavenly Father who loves me. Yeah.
Because that's who I am. Yeah. Looking in the mirror.
That's who I am, literally.
For me, looking in the mirror and being able to say that is way more powerful. I need to do that because I need to see, and I can physically see the light in my eyes.
Right. It's like somebody turns on the light bulb.
Yes. It's like I can feel the darkness and I'm looking in the mirror and there's just no light. And then as I say that, and sometimes I have to say it over and over again, but as I say it, I can see that light again in my eyes. And I'm like, okay, that is who I am. And so I can move forward. And one of my power words is I choose. So there's times when I just want to wallow. I think I know all three of us, and there are times we want to wallow. Yeah. And have that pity party. And but in order to get myself out of that, I have to physically say, I choose. I am choosing to leave this now. I'm choosing to leave this behind. I'm choosing to move forward. I choose to forgive them. I choose to have a smile on my face, whatever it is, but I'm choosing. And for me, that's my power word is I choose.
Beautiful. Yeah, those are powerful. I choose. And Jen's word, yet. Yep. And reminding ourselves of who we really are. I am the creator of my own life experience. I am. And I have within me light and truth, all the power I need to grow and to progress. Yeah. And then my favorite, I'm different by design. It's on purpose, y'all. That's right. And that really helps. And that helps for me to look at other people too, who are also different by design, right? That's a beautiful thing. Well, cool. Well, let's use our words and have a great week and make some positive outcomes. I love that you did that for that officer today. He will not forget that, JC.
Oh, that's good. Maybe witness Bob will happen.
Yeah.
He'll be mad about it till he figures out.
He probably will. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not resolved because the judge is still, going over all the evidence and stuff, but that's fine. I'm at peace with it. So
good. And it sounds like it went well enough. Yeah. Justice will be served. You can trust. It's good. All right. So tomorrow, let's do the weekly. Tomorrow is Coaching Clear. And I'm very much looking forward to it, especially the coaching, because I have a cool coaching idea that we're gonna share. And Wednesday is book club. And y'all are still reading
The power of stillness, and we are done. We're finishing that discussion this week, and yeah, it's a beautiful book. There's some real life applications that, some of the things we're discovering that, I already do that. I mean, I've had some of the ladies go, oh, I already do that. Right? Recognizing, I think that's
nice.
part of the book club, is that we do recognize when we are on the right track. And then we also pick up things that we're like, oh, I think I want to add that to my toolbox, right? Because I like that. So anyway, it's really cool. Yeah.
That was really cool. That's Wednesday. Thursday's coach training. And what's kind of fun is y'all are finishing The Power of Stillness in book club, and we will begin studying The Power of Stillness the 1st of October in coach training. So you're going to be really still by the end of October. Just saying. Going to have that all figured out. Yeah. And then not this weekend, but the weekend after, Jen's going to give us our Jumpstart workshop.
Yep.
Working with imagery and further developing that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All around receiving.
Yeah, all around receiving. I'm very excited about the theme of receiving coming up in October. As women, quite often, especially women who do a lot of caretaking, we do not choose to receive the bounty around us. We choose to give instead of to receive. And we quite often don't ask for what we really need because of lots of different layers of stuff underneath. And so we're going to be talking about that all the way through the month, ways we can become better receivers, because we know if our own cup is filled and we have received all that we need, we are so much better for everybody else. It makes a huge difference. So, last week on resilience, be like a bouncy ball. They have all the fun. And then next week, it'll be receiving. And we'll begin our last quarter of gratitude and giving. It's going to be beautiful. Thanks for coming, you guys. And thanks for coming to 50 Girls. It's going to be great. A beautiful, beautiful week. Have a great week. We'll see you. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMHcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Whoa, day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking? 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 You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.